the luckiest thing that's ever happened to me was that blind date that, I got to meet you, because that was the starting point of really where like my life truly began.
Why did you just take my luckiest moment?
I knew it. Hi guys, it's Lana. I'm the designer and founder of LANA Jewelry. And today, welcome to my very first episode of our new podcast called Luck and Love. My first guest today, well, it's the love of my life, my husband, Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm great. You're going to behave?
Nope.
Stay tuned. It's always been my dream to just do things that are outside of my comfort zone. Starting a business, going on a blind date, doing this podcast. The blind date was 26 years ago. That worked out. You're still here. The business.
I'm still here. I don't know how. I must be amazing if I'm still here, because Lana is a perfectionist.
Yes, you are amazing. You really are. I mean, I think that,
not all the time, according to you.
Well, I think that oftentimes people do ask us, like, what's the secret? And how are we still together for almost 26 years? I mean, that is a big thing to be proud of, I think, because, we're compatible, but we're very, very similar in a lot of things, but also incredibly opposite in many.
Yes. Or incredibly challenging is how I would say.
Yes. It's always a challenge. Life is always a challenge. So I thought, let's start a podcast and it kind of be around the true mission statement of the company that actually you and I started. And you really came up with the slogan of LANA Jewelry, and it's luck and love. And so that's what we decided to call this podcast and why we're here. And we'll get into what that means and all of that. But I think, I wanted to introduce myself to our clients and our friends and our fans. Well, not our friends know us, but people who may know the line but don't know truly who I am. And
I'm sort of like the Secret Service. I'm like behind the important person.
Yes. But you are the reason why I'm here. You're the reason why the company's here. And I thought you would be the perfect first guest. So we're embarking on probably the most important year and celebration of our company. We're about to turn 25 years in business.
Which is a pretty amazing feat, because most businesses do not last 25 years. The percentages of businesses that last that long are very, very single digit.
Yeah, so what do you think, before we talk about how it all started, like what do you think is the reason we're still here 25 years in?
Well, because we're both crazy. Crazy confident, crazy in a lot of ways.
Crazy hard
in
workers.
love. Crazy in love.
Yeah.
Yes. For sure. And, I think we're both entrepreneurs at heart, and we're both very passionate people. And at the same time, I feel that we're both very confident, that you got to be confident and stubborn, and no is not an answer. If you want to do something, you envision it, you manifest it, and you focus, and it takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of luck and a lot of love, right? Luck and love. I mean, that is so important, just not for relationships, but for business and for life, right? So
I feel like when we met, and some people know this and some people don't, but we met on a blind date. And
blind dates work.
Well, yes, I was hesitant, but I didn't, I thought to myself, fine, I have nothing to lose. But
I actually canceled on the first date. I was sick.
Yes, I should have that should have been the first clue that you were going to be a challenge, but
I reeled that back in somehow.
you did. You did.
Got the second date set, and love at first sight.
Yes, it was a blizzard in Chicago. It was January 16th.
It was.
And I wanted to cancel because I was so scared to drive into the city to meet you. And at the time, I drove a car that whenever it turned left, it honked. That's how poor we were. And I was like, I'm never going to make it to this dinner. And you were very adamant that it's going to be okay and I will get there. And it was like my first sign that you were going to be pushing me to get to where I need to be. So yeah, we met on a blind date. It was love at first sight. So much so.
You know what my first sign was?
What?
The coat she walked in. She walked in this coat that I was just like, I saw her and I saw the coat she was wearing. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, this is the real deal. Like I sort of was like, reset myself and was like, I've got to sort of kick it up a notch here. This is...
Well, I don't think people know this, but I'm Russian, right? So I was born in Moscow and it's a blizzard. And my Russian ladies will know that in the winter we have to wear a shearling, you know, or at times some sort of a fur. And this particular coat was very dramatic and just gorgeous and wild and fierce. And I would say it was like my first clue for you about who you're going on a date with.
Well, it definitely stopped and made me think for a second. And however, I am a gentleman. I was so focused on the coat that like I was like, I've got to do something like spectacular because she's walking into this coat and it was a blind date. So I grabbed her hand and I said,
yes, he did this.
So nice to meet you. And that was like sort of my calm down sort of thing that I did for myself. And then we just started talking and
we closed the restaurant down.
Could not stop talking.
And then we moved in together like a week later.
I did the dance in the bathroom at the restaurant.
Yes, I did too.
Where I like walked in the bathroom halfway through the dinner and I was like, yes. And it was like, I sort of like knew, I was like, wow, this woman is amazing. And it just was like, I was very excited. And then I don't know how long after we had our second date, it's probably like maybe like a couple days. And then we had our second date. And then the next big thing, we show up at her best friend's birthday party. Now, somehow this was the thing that was like, this is my second date. I've got to do something special. What can I do? And I don't know how I thought to do this because that was way far advanced for me at that time. I was maybe 25 or 26 years old. But I stopped and got flowers for your friend.
Yes, you did.
For her birthday. Someone I've never met before. And when I walked in with flowers, that was like, her friend was like...
Everyone went crazy. They were like, This is it. This is the end.
So...
This is done deal.
But that helped.
Yes. So we moved in together and... You used to work in politics, and you worked for a previous presidential candidate, and
not just a presidential candidate, but I worked for a vice president. So
yes, you worked for Vice President Gore, and you were cleared by the Secret Service. So when I told my parents I'm moving in, they were like, "This is insane," and all my friends were like, "This is insane," but he was cleared, so. You're going to do what you're going to do. And then we moved in together and we were inseparable and we were madly in love like we are still, but we were young and we weren't ready to get married. So at the time I wanted to kind of let the world know that I was taken, and I decided to create a nameplate with your name on it. Watching Sex in the City. Now I wear my name.
Am I not important anymore?
I know.
Did I lose?
Well, I got this.
Did
now.
I lose status?
No,
Wait,
I got
how
this
did I lose
now.
status?
I got this down. Now we're so much more recognized and well known, so everyone knows.
I feel
right?
like I've lost status now.
No, never.
When's the last time you wore a Rob necklace?
I don't need to wear. Rob is with me, and I'm wearing my ring, so that's my Rob, identification. But I think that at the time, everybody was watching Sex and the City and was worshiping everything that Carrie was wearing and rocking. But you couldn't go anywhere to get a real gold nameplate necklace. And I was lucky enough to know somebody in the industry who could make something from real gold. And everywhere we went, people were very much curious, and they would say, "Why are you wearing a Rob necklace?" And
It was we would just go out to eat or clubs, and it was like sort of crazy to see the reaction of people when we were with each other, and then she's wearing a Rob necklace. Like it really did like catch, like it hit something, and then
the conversation starter.
yeah,
So I
right.
think when you told people, "Oh, well, this my boyfriend, and I just want to let people know that we're taking," it was kind of that idea in the 50s when you were pinned.
Wasn't your first order though a lady who found you in an elevator, right?
Yes.
900 North
It
Mall
was you were with
on Michigan
me,
Avenue.
and she had a dog named Tootsie.
But she wanted her dog's name, right?
Yes.
So from Rob to the dog.
Yes, that's how it works. You just never know. And then, you were kind of, I think you were kind of watching from the side of what was happening. And when you met me, I had a clothing store. At the time before I had a clothing line, I was kind of dabbling in the business in fashion, but was still kind of contemplating what was my next move. And it was you who said, everywhere we go, people are asking about your necklace. Like, think about doing this. Like, what? And I was like, I don't know anything about jewelry. I don't know anything about this industry. And you pushed me. You were like,
Well,
figure it out, learn.
So when you designed a few pieces, like maybe 7 pieces or something like that, like not a lot. But then you took it to the store. It was
P45
P45
in
on Damon
Chicago.
Avenue in
Yep.
Bucktown.
Still around.
Which was like a hot sort of up and coming strip then
Yeah.
of like stores and restaurants and sort of like a, like pre-hipster area, if you know what I mean. But the cool thing was when it sold out, like it literally did really well at the store. And then that's what sort of clicked in my mind, I think, was like, whoa, wait, this is maybe something that can go to the next level. And my grandfather used to live in California, so I used to go stay with him. And my mom, like, literally was the queen of like taking me everywhere throughout California. So I knew all the neighborhoods throughout LA down to the like San Diego practically. But Melrose and Fred Siegel.
Yeah, like I didn't
Ron
even
Herman.
know what Fred Siegel was like.
Like-
You taught me that. Like
Because
it's
my
crazy.
mom would drag me there as a kid and drag me there
Yes.
when I was like younger. So I sort of knew what that strip and what that
She's
scene
the
was.
coolest.
And it was like, hey, like we need to go check that out and take your pieces there.
Well, besides that, there was another reason why you told me we have to go to California. We have to figure out how to connect to the celebrity world. And you said,
Which that's where they shopped.
right. And again, I didn't know any of this. It was something that you taught me. You were like, the paparazzi stands outside of the store and they wait for all of these hot up and coming celebrities to shop. And the celebrities knew that that's how they would get press, because at the time there were no PR publicists and stylists that were so consumed by this industry like they are right now. So they had like free press in essence. And to be a brand in these stores, you had an immediate in with the celebrity world. But, I didn't want to do it. And this is the other thing that I think is really important to know is in our relationship, I don't want to do anything. I'm scared it's not going to work. I freak out about everything.
And I'm a pusher man.
Yes. And you are very fearless, and you have this really, your strength is your confidence, but it's not cocky. It's like calming.
Figure it out.
Yes.
Or just right? Like if you see something and you want to accomplish something, stop and think about, how do I accomplish that? What's the steps of?
You're very much like
So
a coach. It's a sport with you and me. You're very much like, this is how it's going to be. This is how we're going to do it. You're going to do this. You're going to be fine. I'm going to be right by you. And you've always said to me, the worst thing that could happen is somebody will say no, and we'll end up in the same place we were at this moment. I said, there's no way I'm going into the store. We don't have an appointment. That's not how you do things. And you said, yes, you are going in that store, and you're going to walk around and you're going to find that moment that you feel comfortable, and then you'll talk to people and you'll say, hey, who's the buyer? Who's this? And so you pushed me into the store, really.
To walk up to the counter, cold call. I mean, just literally walk in, and just by chance, the salesperson was actually sick that day or not there.
It was the buyer.
And the buyer was actually standing behind the counter,
Right.
running the store that day. And the first thing that she said was, are you wearing what you're talking about? And Lana was like, yeah. And then she's like, well, let's meet tomorrow. And just like that, we had a meeting with one of the most important, like, trend-setting fashion stores in the world, not just in the country, but in the world, because of the celebrity clientele that would come and shop there. And Lana went to meet with her the very next day. I think I had some business in California that I was in on. And then Lana sort of calls me up and, like, they placed an order, and it was just like, whoa, oh, well, wow. Like, just like that.
It was the first, like, aha moment and big, probably, at the time in the early 2000s, it was, out of all the stores, I think Fred Segal was the most important store. Outside of, I would say, even New York and all the fashion meccas, Fred Segal was a icon in its time, and what happened there just was magical because, again, it was so organic, right? Like, I think the whole premise of this industry today is everything is like a step to get to the next step, and it's overthought, and you have to pay to play and all of this. At that time, in the early 2000s, everything was about actual product. It wasn't saturated, and it was about organically doing things. You had to present collections, and people bought them because they were beautiful, not because, you had 1 million followers or, you could do something for them. And it was about the art.
Well, being in the store, that store at that time as well was very, it was very special to get picked to even be in that store and launch your brand there. And they did launch a lot of brands, but at the same time, it was, we were from Chicago, and there's all these.
We're still from Chicago.
We're still from Chicago, but there were so many brands from New York or LA, and one of the, I think, things that actually helped us is that we were out of the norm.
Right.
We were different. We were, like, not a part of the scene. We weren't a part of anything at all that these two industries on the, like, New York East Coast and then the West Coast LA scene for the fashion industry. We were different. We stood out. We just managed to hit the right spot at the right time, and then within a couple of weeks, like, speaking about being organic, we just happened to be watching E! News or E! Network.
Well, let's first say that, like, the moment that we wanted to happen, why we wanted to be in Fred Segal actually happened. And it was, Cameron Diaz, one of the biggest celebrities of the time, came in and organically was shopping for herself. And at the time wasn't even working with a stylist. So she really styled herself and bought the LANA 3-tier earrings to wear to the premiere of Charlie's Angels, and wore it with this little famous Chanel white strapless dress. And she had the most perfect little ponytail and my earrings. And we didn't know about it until we were watching like the Entertainment Tonight or something, and she was being interviewed. And I ran over to the...
Well, she broke her shoe, actually, which was the... Like, so luck and love, right?
Yeah.
Here's the luck part. She broke her shoe that night, and she broke her shoe when she got out of the limousine. And at that point, she told all the photographers, because she was standing on the red carpet barefoot because she had to take her shoes off.
Yep.
So at that point, she told all the paparazzi to shoot her from the chest up. And here were Lana Three Tears, right? And her hair was in a ponytail. If she would have had long hair, maybe it would have been hidden or not shown as much, but like she had a ponytail that day. So that's the luck part, right? Like here's the part of, you got to have luck, you got to have love. That was the, starting to roll down the hill of like, okay, this is now starting to take another turn. And it just was an amazing, like she sees her earrings on TV for the first time. And she like started to run over to the TV to make sure, and she tripped on the bed.
And
right?
I broke my toe.
Broke her toe.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my God, my jewelry!" Like like this camera.
And you were like, "We don't know. We don't know."
Be calm.
Just you have to first find out. And I said, "A mother knows her babies." Okay.
She did say that.
And so we found out and confirmed that was what happened. And I think at the time also, obviously a lot of people don't know this, like we started this thing because you said, we're starting this. We are going to have this business. And it was first out of our apartment and our bedroom. Basically, there was a desk, a computer.
In the bedroom.
Yes, and me. And we couldn't afford employees. So I had a list of like 5 people that were my other personalities.
Yes.
And so I would have different like
Customer
voices.
service.
And yes, I was like head of customer service, head of PR, head of sales, head of marketing in different names. And so like I would call the magazines as my own publicist and say like, this are our jewelry. So if you saw, this is, was confirmed. And it was crazy because there was an article written by a wonderful person, Bobby Thomas, who was then the fashion editor of In Touch. And she wrote this article about Cameron never taking off these earrings. Like, what are these earrings? And credited us. And a few days before that, you said, we have to create a website. And I was like, what's a website? Like, in an essence, like, what do you mean a website? People are going to buy things that they don't know about.
Jewelry, expensive jewelry.
Expensive.
On a website.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yes.
They are.
And so you went and got the name and set it up, and it was very basic. And then after the article was written, we were in New York, and on my phone, I heard these little like dings. And I'm like, I'm getting all these messages. Like, what is this? And you're like, orders. These are orders. Because the article wrote, and they mentioned the site. And
people started shopping.
Yes. And then a few weeks later, Neiman Marcus called and wanted to meet us. And so kind of that was the beginning of the...
So this is all within our first year of dating, right?
Yes.
Like this was pretty much all this crazy, like coincidental, just like, let's do this and let's do this and let's do this and just going out and doing it. And
we had a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was very grassroots. I mean, we went to amazing places, and you would always say, we're just going to go on this trip. We're just going to check out all the best stores, all the best restaurants, and see where people could go and wear LANA.
You gave me a lot of shout out to, but like I will give you a lot of shout out too, is that your background in PR, was like, you did not know how, when you started that job as you were young and you were doing all this restaurant PR, how then that would parlay into promoting yourself and doing PR for yourself under your assumed name. But that helped really just set us up to get these meetings now with Neiman Marcus. And the first time we go to meet with Neiman Marcus. Like we keep having these like little steps and these little successes and these little runs of like, wow, well, that just happened and this just happened. So then we get the call to go meet with Neiman Marcus in New York City. And I'll never forget this. This was like, wow, we're going to New York City to like, have a meeting in the, the heart of, this is the like headquarters for the buying
It's like
team.
Times Square. That's
In
where their
Times
fashion
Square.
office was.
Probably, I think that was my first, was that my first time in New York? I think that was my first time in New York. So we stop and we get coffee and we're in a cab and I'm drinking a coffee and literally the cab gets rear-ended and my coffee goes literally from here down. It looks like I have soiled my pants in the very first meeting that I'm getting ready to walk into. Luckily, they were dark and it wasn't super embarrassing. However, I was soaking wet going in to meet with Neiman Marcus for the first time with you.
And also, when we got into that accident, the cab driver was like, "You have to stay here and, and be." And
I was like, "No, we got to go later. We're out."
You had to fill out a report. We're like, "Are you crazy?" Right. So we ran, and we were sweaty and
we ran. Yeah, we ran to the meeting because
And it was supposed to be like our most important, like next high level meeting, and we came in like wet rats. We smelled like coffee, so they're like, "You obviously don't want."
I smelled like coffee, not you.
But we had a great meeting, and I remember the fashion director at the time, the accessory fashion director. I'm going to give her a shout out. Sandy Wilson was a star at the time in one of the most important, retailers. She said after she found us and got us into Neiman's, I saw her many years later, and I said, you're the reason I am, at Neiman Marcus. And she said, no, like, you're the reason why you're at Neiman Marcus. And that always kind of stuck with me. Yeah.
So we get our very first order for Neiman Marcus, huge order, and like we're in our bedroom and like we got all this jewelry and we're like, oh, what do we do? Like, we don't have a safe. And literally I went to Home Depot and I bought a safe at Home Depot, like one of those little small safes. And we literally walked back into the house and we've got this like safe you can buy at Home Depot that was not mounted anywhere. You could carry the safe out, but all the jewelry was in the safe.
Think things through.
Yeah.
We had this little safe in our room. We thought we were so slick, and the day that we needed to ship the product out, the safe didn't open.
Oh my! And we had to call a locksmith.
We had to call a locksmith, and I was crying.
I forgot about that. We had to call a locksmith to open a Home Depot safe.
But I think the essence of how you have always been this thread of pivot, figure it out. Here's an obstacle. How do we fix it? Has always been this thing that you have really mastered, and you've really made me change my ways. And instead of high panic on everything, it's, well, I'm the CEO now, I have to figure it out.
Well, also one of the reasons why I think we work so well together, Lana's always in a panic and I'm always not in a panic. And I'm really like, when there is something to really be panicked about and there really is mass hysteria and like mass craziness, I'm the guy that normally that's when I shine. I feel like I'm very just level-headed, figure out a way to like think outside of the box and accomplish what to get around this obstacle that you're facing at that exact moment without having a meltdown. While Lana is actually having the meltdown. I'm actually fixing the meltdown, but like that's sort of part of our yin and yang of how well we tend to work together.
But then I think the smartest thing you've ever done was to say that this business is becoming very serious and that you knew that the best person to take it to the next level was my dad, which you had the idea. You made him see
So
it.
I come from a family business as well. And I have 2 family businesses. That's how crazy I am. So never mess with me because I'm that crazy. But I did think that, hey, just because I've learned from my own family business is that, hey, if you can be fortunate enough to have somebody that you can trust, so with so much that,
What, like I can't trust you?
well, you can, but like at the same time, it's very stressful to be a
No,
husband and wife in a business. And
no.
my parents dealt with that and they accomplished that and they managed that.
I think one thing that we need to say throughout every time you and I talk, or I talk to anybody, is you taught me this thing, like anything is possible. And what's the worst that can happen? And I often have that in my mind into every step that I take, that it seems so crazy and impossible. Like physically, I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of fast cars and roller coasters and anything that I don't have control over. At the same time, I'm afraid of those physical things. I'm not afraid anymore of doing crazy, risky things where, to me, I think
business.
In business, I think starting a business is risky.
Yes.
Deciding that you're going to be an entrepreneur is risky.
So Lana is the opposite of me in the fact of, yes, like I definitely am an adrenaline junkie. I love speed. I love to like hyper focus and you know, that helps me sort of calm down and de-stress, and Lana focuses that hyper focus and her like need for speed is in business and launching products and making beautiful designs.
But I also think that why we call this luck and love, and why that's the theme of our business, is that I think to be successful and to have the fearlessness that I have to get to do whatever I want and think it could be a success is because I have people around me, and you were the first to support it, to be like, yes, you can. I'm going to be by your side. Like, if it doesn't work out, then we'll move on to the next thing. And to have somebody in your corner is like crucial to be successful, I think. You can't do it by yourself.
No, you cannot do it by yourself.
You can't do anything by yourself. I mean,
So,
people say like, yes, you can.
Got to have a good team.
You have to have a good
Teamwork
team.
makes the dream work.
So, and I think that's what we have.
And without love in the dream will never come true.
You have a million things.
But that's like the luck part is important, but back to the love of the luck and love. The love part, you have to be committed to going through such challenging times, no matter what they may be. So that, to be around for 25 years in business and to design and to be in Neiman Marcus, that to me blows my mind, and my mind's not blown that much, but like that is really just an amazing accomplishment that I'm so proud that you've done. I mean, that's no easy task whatsoever. But to design stuff for people that are the hardest, that can have anything in the world, that's pretty crazy.
Well, I think anything is possible with a little bit of luck and a lot of love. Okay, so a lot of people may wonder, how do you know if you have that thing to take it to the next level? Like, why did you take a chance on me? Like at the time, what did you think? We just met and I had this crazy thought and idea, and then you were like, yeah, well, let's make this happen.
Well, I mean, you had a little bit of a track record, which is a positive, right? If you've got a little bit of a track record, and you had a clothing line that was in Nordstrom previously. Yes. I mean, you worked in marketing and PR, and you were a designer, and you just have this way that you carry yourself, hence the coat, walking in on that first date, right? So like all those little things are just little things that you pick up on. And then it's like, well, hey, then there's this thing that happened with this like love story and how you wanted to wear a Rob necklace. And
how did you feel about that? How does that feel to have somebody?
Well, I mean, yeah, you hook, line, and sinkered me. Well, there was maybe, I can't remember, was the steak first or was the necklace first? But here, so the coat was the first thing. Once she walked in, I was like blown away because she's absolutely beautiful. Still is the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen. But like the coat, and then shortly after we were dating, within the first few months, I got sick again. And this girl brings me a steak dinner.
Ladies, take note.
Like, I've never had somebody
Oh,
bring
that's
me.
the night you told me you loved me
Yes,
for the first
and
time.
that was the night that I said I love you. Like, yeah. So it was the coat, and then the steak, and then yes, then the girl decides to make a necklace with my name on it and wear it all over town. And everybody goes crazy, and guys would come up to me like, "Dude, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that's crazy. That's amazing. Like, what?" And I was just like, I was like,
And then we had
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of girlfriends and a lot of wives felt so compelled and proud to get their, nameplates of their kids, of their husbands, of their boyfriends. And so we created this little, side personalization, customization business. We were one of the first to kind of be that thing for people, because unless you knew a jeweler or somebody in the family that knew somebody who used to make, custom pieces, it wasn't readily available. And also Fred Siegel started selling our nameplates and our initials. And it all kind of stemmed from that idea of wearing something to silently tell the world something about you. So, as we wrap this up and we close out this episode, I'm going to ask everyone what was their luckiest moment in their life so far, right? And I think for me, and I'll say it here because it's our first podcast. The luckiest thing that's ever happened to me was that blind date that, I got to meet you, because that was the starting point of really where like my life truly began.
Why did you just take my luckiest moment?
I knew it. I know.
This is not fair. Now I have
Well,
to come up with another luckiest moment.
yes.
That's hard, because that truly, like, the moment that I met Lana was the most amazing, luckiest moment of my life. But at the same token, there were other things that happened previous to that put us both in that situation to be like, I wanted to move to San Francisco. Lana wanted to move to
New York.
Miami or New York, right? And like we were about to go, we were about to like leave Chicago and sort of part our ways. But we managed to meet at the moment that we did, and we sort of ran in a lot of circles, but we never knew each other, never met each other. We just happened to meet, and then say we had the aha moment, fell in love, and that there's nothing that
And
can
then
be
we are
luckier
here.
than that for probably for you and me both, that we're gonna say.
Well, thank you for coming on to the first episode of Luck and Love. I think we really set the tone.
Did anybody count how many times I got yelled at? I don't. I think
Yes.
I did really good today. Actually, I think I only got maybe one kick and
We'll let you
one
know
pinch.
when we rewind and edit this. But I think that this is an exciting moment for us.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear, everyone that sits in that chair. I can't wait to hear about their aha moments, their luck and love stories, and their great advice on how to take life and make it something amazing. Because, all of these opportunities are staring at us daily, and it's a matter of how you grab them. And I think that's what this show is going to be about. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I love you.
I love you.